part 2 of our Arctic adventure and we're loving it. You've seen reindeers and some faint northern lights. Well, today it's cable cars, cruises and crikey, they're bright. Now, are you finding Norway expensive?
On the 7th day, gotta create credit cards.
Oh, it's like that, is it? Well, stick around to the end of this one and we'll give you prices of all the experiences we've tried and Norwegian prices in general. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, he's Wills, and we are Postcards and a Pint. Now, have you recovered after your reindeer experience?
Morning! We've had a bit of a lie-in this morning after all that reindeer feeding last night.
Rachel wants a reindeer.
I do want a reindeer. They were so cute. Some of them like sheep. They blend in Wales. It'd be fine. Anyway, today we've got a full day exploring. We're going to go over the bridge, hopefully, to the mainland.
Yes, for those who don't know, Tromso is an island on the Tromso Sami Strait, and today's things to see are on the Norwegian mainland. But first, breakfast. Today we tried Cafe Bonner. Apparently it has the best coffee in Tromso. It certainly has a cracking view. Pastries and coffee it was, and they were very tasty, don't you think, Wills? We managed to get through breakfast without dropping, spilling or wearing any of it. Today was a good day. When walking over the bridge, make sure you're on the correct side. One's for walking, the other side is for bikes. The views are cracking. How's the weather?
It's a little bit windy, a bit cold on the edge.
Should want a hat, Dom.
Well said, Rach. It takes about 25 minutes to walk from the centre of Tromso over the bridge to the Arctic Cathedral. The views just made my bobble wobble. I was happy. This is the Arctic Cathedral, but we'll be back to visit this later. From here, it's about another 10 minutes walking to the cable car station. You can get a shuttle bus from the city centre, but we love a good walk through residential areas and having a good nose at the houses. It's very well signposted, and before you know it, you're there. Now, we thought you could only buy tickets online through this QR code, so swore a lot trying to do this on a phone. Then we walked through the doors and found loads of ticket machines and a lady in a booth. We got there just before 10 a.m, and it was pretty quiet as the shuttle buses don't start operating until 10 a.m. We got ourselves some good view spots and we were off. It's not a long cable car ride, but the views are something else. As you get higher, more incredible snow-capped mountains are revealed, and you can really see that Tromso is an island. The journey takes about 4 minutes, and we couldn't wait to get out into the snow. There are different walking trails up here. We climbed up a little bit and then decided to sit down for a chat.
And here we are up the top of the cable car.
How cool is this?
Yeah, once you get out, there's like another mountain, like Minivan, again, should you wish to.
No one knows what Minivan is.
We've come about halfway. The views are just incredible.
We'll show you now.
Yeah, you feel like you're on the top of the world. We're looking down on the airport, watching the planes taking off. It's thick snow, thick ice. Could be interesting getting back to the cable car.
I'm sorry, I'm just in awe of this site. It's stunning, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, we're above the clouds in some bits here.
So I've still got me cold.
Yeah, he has.
But if this air doesn't clear me voice,
I don't know what will. So we'll say bye for now and we'll show you some of these stunning views.
It was a real winter wonderland up here. A lot of people climb this mountain at night to watch the northern lights. It was around now that we decided that spikes would have been a good investment for this trip. It was very slippy, but we didn't fall. Full of false confidence, we decided to climb higher.
Look at us hiking up a mountain, just like Pete and Shell on Nick and Jill.
From Obi's Outdoors and Generation Explorers. But unlike us, they'd have brought spikes. And a hat rather than a hood, soft lad. Wills may not have been Santa on a reindeer sleigh on this trip, but he certainly got his fill of snow. Soon we felt it was time to make our way down, as the cloud was starting to roll in. How's that going?
It really is quite comedy watching us trying to walk down here.
I'm not looking at the camera, sorry. I'm looking at the floor.
It's a bit slippy.
We got down and no bones were broken, but now?
We're going to go and have a hot chocolate in the cafe.
It was definitely time for a hot beverage. Attached to the cafe is this large viewing platform that stretches out beyond the mountain and gives you stunning panoramic views. We could have stayed a lot longer, but next on the agenda was the Arctic Cathedral. Thanks for Fjellheisen Cable Car. That was a brilliant way to start the day. This is a relatively modern church, as it was only completed in 1965. Enjoy your visit.
Well, we were going to go in, but there's a funeral on at the moment and the church isn't open to the public till 3:15. So we'll come back tomorrow, but now it's back over the bridge and into Tromso.
So a 25-minute walk back it was, still on the correct side of the bridge. We popped down to the sauna to ask about booking, but it was closed for refurbishment today. Maybe tomorrow. Right, remember that cafe from the last vlog that we failed to get into? Well, today it was second time lucky. And lucky we were. How are your feet, Wills?
Are you relieved to be sitting down?
Oh yeah, my feet.
Stuff your feet. I'm back on the shrimp again. It's jacket spuds all around. How were they?
We've had a lovely lunch, a lovely jacket potato.
So
it was well nice.
Really nice.
But now we're off to the Sami shop to hopefully buy this year's Christmas decoration for the travel tree.
Happy days. We were excited to get this one. After a short browse, we narrowed it down to two. This one, which was like the Northern Lights, but in the end we went for this one that had reindeers, a cable car and Northern Lights on it, but no trolls. All paid up with some of the cash we'd brought, it was time to exit the gift shop. Tromso is a pretty small city and we enjoyed rediscovering some of the sights we'd seen on yesterday's walking tour, including another Sami gift shop. Postcards were bought for our top tier Patreons. We hope you enjoyed them, guys. More Christmas decorations were looked at, but then it was back off to Ulhallands. Remember those beer flights we saw in part 1? Well, today we were going to try one. Wills?
Right, we're going to do a bit of a challenge. We've got a beer flight. I didn't know what a beer flight was until a few weeks ago, but we've got 5 beers, all from the Mac Brewery. They are the Pilsner, the 1877, the Wit, the Hakon, and the Bayer. We've tasted 2 of these before, the 1877, which is lovely. The Hakon, it's all right, not quite as nice as the 1877, but let you know how we get on.
Take it away, Rach.
First up, the Pilsner.
And your review?
I like that. That tastes like beer. A bit lemony. I like that very much. Your turn.
Oh man, this could be a long section. Wills?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a very nice one, that. Quite light. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to talking about beers, but it's a really nice one. Tastes like lager.
This is Edge of Your Seat TV. Now?
Bayer next. I'm going to go first this time. Darker beer. I'm not a big fan of darker beers, unless it's Newcastle Crown.
And your thoughts?
Smells like a Christmas beer.
Of course it does.
I like it, but I don't think you will.
I'm scared.
Give us your best I don't like dark beer face. But then...
I'm back. I didn't like it, but about 10 seconds after the nastiness, there's a taste of chocolate. That's all right.
I'm a connoisseur.
Next up, it's the Hakon. Wills had this one the other day. He liked it. I'll give it a go.
It doesn't look like your thing.
I'm not going to judge too quick this time in case I get, I don't know, toffee or something. That's not my favourite. I don't like that one, sorry.
And beer aficionado Wills?
Yeah, I had this the other day. Yesterday, in fact. It's nice. It's not as nice as the Pilsner. I think it's my second favourite so far.
Ooh, moving on.
Okay, I'll go first on the Wit, because as you know, I've got lots of wit.
Really?
More than Rachel.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a bit more like an IPA, that. I'm not a big fan of that. It's nice. It's quite fruity, but it's an IPA, and I'm not a big fan, so least favourite so far.
I don't even know what an IPA is.
An Indian Pale Ale, I'm informed.
No, I don't mind that one. I like that better than the dark ones.
Well, who knew?
Yeah, second to Pilsner, this one.
I'm an IPA gal.
Finally, the 1877. Now, I know I like this one already. This is my favourite one we've had since we were here. So I'll have most of this one. You can have the dark ones. I'll have the IPA. Cheers.
Sounds like a fair trade.
That is so refreshing. That's a really refreshing beer, that one. Cheers.
Hang in there. We're almost finished.
Oh, that's definitely my favourite. We were recommended this on night 1, and good recommendation. This is my favourite, 1877.
Drum roll.
Rachel's 1 to 5. Number 1, 1877, by far the nicest. Number 2, Pilsner. Number 3, Wit. Number 4, Bayer. And bottom of the pile, Hakon. How about you?
Well, as I like a fizzy Pilsner, I'm going to go for the 1877 first. I'm going to go for the Pilsner second. I'm going to go probably the Hakon or Hakau, however you pronounce it, third, followed by the dark beer, which is the Bayer. And then last but not least, The Wit. Very nice though. Cheers.
Thank God that's over. What's next?
Wow, what a lot of fresh air we've had today. We've had to have a little rest, but we're off out again now. Now we're going to go to the Hard Rock Cafe. And I know we should go to a Norwegian restaurant, but we've been to quite a few Norwegian restaurants for our little snacks over the last few days. But this is the most northern Hard Rock Cafe in the world. Come on, it deserves a visit from Postcard and a Pint. Let's go.
If you've done the most northern McDonald's, see last week's video, then it's fair crack to do the most northern Hard Rock. How's it going, kids?
We got a table. We are now in the most northern Hard Rock Cafe in the world.
Wills was in seventh heaven. Tell us why, lad.
And they're playing Iron Maiden. Hallowed be thy name. Life after death. Come on, up the irons.
We lost complete leave of our senses and shared a bottle of wine. Cheers! The food was fine, but wasn't as tasty as the other food we'd had in Tromso, and it was the most expensive meal we had. Cheers, Hard Rock Cafe. And now what are you up to?
And a complete twist of events, we now seem to be on a Northern Lights cruise. We kind of drank a bottle of wine between us, walked around the town, saw this boat and thought, oh man, we're only here once. Every chance we've got to see them we should take. And after all, on the 7th day, God created credit cards. So here we are.
This boat trip takes you almost to the end of Tromso Island, where you drop anchor and wait. We did get another show, but again they weren't as bright as we'd hoped. For about a minute, we did get a curtain that danced, but it looked so much better through our phones than it did to the naked eye. It was still a lovely trip to take, and a few hours later, we were back in Tromso.
Well, that was fun. We kind of saw the Northern Lights, didn't we?
See the Northern Lights.
Yeah, it wasn't as strong as I'd hoped. Maybe tomorrow.
We saw them.
But we're tired now, so off to bed.
Good night, one and all. We watched a bit of Shane Nixon before turning in, and then it was...
Morning! We're bright and breezy, up again, another good sleep. This Arctic air really agrees with me.
It's snowing outside.
It's snowing outside. We said we were going to do the sauna yesterday, but it didn't happen because it was being refurbed. But guess where we're going now? Before breakfast, we're going to try a Scandi sauna.
We're a bit scared.
I was actually quite excited. Wills was inside himself. Ooh, hot soup. We might be needing that later. Then we confidently walked up to the Poost sauna, ready to prove our Norwegianness. And then what happened?
Well, gutted is absolutely booked out. Yesterday it was closed for refurbishment. I went online last night and looked, and it didn't look like it was for sale. That's because it was sold out. Who knew jumping in a field was so popular? So we're going to go back, re-shower and wash our hair and put some cream on and everything now, and then carry on with our tour of Tromso.
So note to everyone else, book well in advance. Today we went to Rizzo for breakfast. The coffee was great and the cinnamon roll was divine. There's some pretty cool street art opposite too. Then we sat at the end of a jetty and looked at what we could have had if only we'd been more organised. Next up, it was time to get cultural and discover the legend of the trolls. You follow the troll footsteps up the stairs or into a lift, and then on the 3rd floor, you meet this geezer. It's only a small museum, but you can do this. Yep, you can become a troll and dance, or just use jazz hands if you wills. We really enjoyed playing with this one. You could create a land for the trolls, and somehow the video mapping could keep up with you. It was very cool. My land was without a doubt totally fabulous, and any troll would have wanted to live there. Anyway, get out of the sandpit and let's learn about trolls. Trolls are mythical creatures found in Scandinavian folklore. They're often depicted as large, ugly and slow-witted, and they live in mountains, forests or caves. There were lots of interactive displays, either using iPads or old school, open the doors on the troll. We spent about 50 minutes in this museum, and that was plenty of time. Then it was back over the bridge as we had the Arctic Cathedral to see, and the views were even better today. When we got there, it was open to the public. And for 80 Norwegian kroner, that's about £5.80 in UK money, you can visit inside. The Arctic Cathedral, as it's known, is actually Tromsdalen Church. It was completed in 1965 and was designed by Norwegian architect Jan Ingehoevig. It is now one of Tromso's most iconic landmarks and is said to resemble icebergs or the sharp peaks of Norway's mountains. It was time to light a candle for my parents, who I don't think ever made it this far north. Wendy and Mike, enjoy Tromso. Even though Will's mum didn't travel abroad, being Mrs. Christmas, she'd have loved this place. Here's a candle for you two, Dame Mags off Flint, MBE. Enjoy this Arctic wonderland together. Our visit was almost over. Give us your thoughts, Rach.
Well, I'm glad we came back. That was stunning inside. I've seen it on other vlogs. I've seen it on Jane McDonald's, Susan Calman. It is beautiful in there. It reminds me of what I think the Ice Hotel would feel like inside, although it's a lot warmer probably. But it's absolutely beautiful and well worth a visit.
This church really is a masterpiece of light and form. And the phone box opposite? Well, that doubles up as a book exchange. Back across the bridge and the skies are very clear today. Let's hope this is a good omen for tonight's Northern Lights search. Feeling in a churchy mood, we decided to visit Tromso's Cathedral. This is only open to the public on a Tuesday and Friday. And luckily, today was Friday. We'd learnt about how this cathedral was used in World War II to shelter all of the Norwegians who lived nearer the Russian front and fled here. And this statue commemorates that. But now we were hungry and the queues were too long at the Rocket. But directly opposite we saw this. Where are we, Wills?
I've come to Pepe's pizza place because we're starving. I've just ordered a Nordic Pils. It is a really, really, really nice lager. Up there with the 1877s. I might even like it a little bit better, but certainly up there.
And I've gone for an Arctic water.
All those healthy jacket spuds and now we're back to pizza. It was delicious though. Thanks, Pepe Pizza. We've got to go and buy gifts for the family, and that means even more Christmas decorations for Wills. Okay, and one more for us. Then it was back to the hotel for a short rest, and now what are you up to?
Let's go chase some Northern Lights.
It was our last-ditch attempt to see them, and to increase our chances, we'd booked a minivan tour with Gold of Norway. We were split into groups of 8 and then told some of the science of the lights. Our shoes were deemed crap, so they lent us snow boots. Now what are our chances of seeing the lights?
A good night started on 1820. So 22 is a really good start.
Then we boarded our minivans to start our adventure. The minivans all head out to where their guides think best. We drove north, and after just 40 minutes there was a sighting. We parked in the next available lay-by and then scrambled up a hill in the dark. It was faint at first. But then the whole sky opened up and showed us one of the most phenomenal things we'd ever seen.
We're only watching the Northern Lights.
Our guide took our photograph, and then we just lay on our backs in the undergrowth and watched. It was the most incredible thing we've ever experienced, and we were so lucky to experience it together. Aurora wasn't stopping the show anytime soon, so we decided to relocate to the shores of the fjord, and sliding down on your bum was definitely the best option. Here we had a cup of hot coffee and a muffin as the show continued. I think it was safe to say that this was the best night ever. We then drove to another fjord, as Francisco, our guide, likes it there. Let's catch up.
Well, so far this has been totally amazing. Our tour guide is a bit of a nutter. We saw,
in a good way.
In a good way. We saw the lights. He sort of slammed into the next lay-by, and he's like, "Everyone up this hill." There was no path. There was no.
It was a bit icy.
It was ice and sort of like weird plants, and everyone was clinging on. I'm amazed we got up, but man, I'm so glad we did.
You know what? Last night on the boat tour, we kind of saw the Northern Lights, but tonight we saw the Northern Lights.
The Northern Lights. They were bright, and it was just incredible.
It was amazing.
And he's now brought us down to Grotfjord. I don't think
there's any more northern lights coming on, but we're in a field and the sky is just amazing.
Isn't it?
But we were wrong. Off went Aurora again. It wasn't as bright as before, but this time we got pinks and purples too. And we were in one of the most stunning locations ever. Oh, Norway, we will definitely be back. But all good things come to an end, and it was time to go back to the van and make our way back to Tromso.
Well, that was
How good was that?
absolutely amazing. Our guide said in all his years of doing it, that was in his top 3 of the Auroras.
Yeah, that was fab.
I knew we were going to see a good one.
You did?
It was absolutely amazing. We're on our way home now. That trip, highly, highly recommended. As we said before, we will link all the excursions that we've done below. But, top.
It was
top.
brilliant night. Cold, got cold feet.
Yeah, we're really, really cold now. We just stopped across the road and we'll stop now or we'll get killed. But we'll see you soon.
Bye.
That was a night we'll remember forever.
Morning!
Oh my gosh, I think we're still reeling from last night. What an
How fab
adventure
was
that
that?
was. But anyway, we had a bit of a little sleep in. It's 9:30 now, so we're off to catch some breakfast. We've got a few last things we want to see, but there's no more experiences. We've done everything we wanted to do.
And we're going home
Apart from
later.
the sauna, and we're going home later. Oh, but gosh, what a 5-day adventure this has been. Amazing.
But we haven't finished yet.
We haven't finished yet. Come with us.
Today's breakfast stop was Souvenir. This is another one we'd seen on our day 1 city tour. We loved the interior of this one and enjoyed a very tasty breakfast. Thanks, Souvenir. Let's get back to the exploring. This is the Cathedral of Our Lady. It's the Catholic Cathedral of Tromso and the northernmost Catholic cathedral in the world. We conclude that Tromso holds claim to a lot of the most northern things in the world. Oh, not another gift shop. What are you up to? Oh, I might have guessed. It was our last look around this winter wonderland. Will's even bought some very fluffy socks to weather the ice of Wales. Even though we'd walked past it loads, we finally went into this shopping centre. And Will's picked up some 1877 beers to take home. We then visited the Mac Brewery shop in case there were any souvenirs we wanted from there. Then it was lunchtime, and I wanted me one last helping of fresh shrimp, so it was back to canola tot. Delicious and healthy. This was my favourite cafe in Tromso. There was time for a little more sound recording, and then what, Wills?
We're popping into one of our favourite bars here, Robua, not just to get a pint, because we're freezing.
We do love it in here. It feels so cosy and welcoming. And you can't beat a red wine to warm the cockles of your heart. This time we noticed loads of signed postcards, some by people who were pretty famous. What's that about?
We've just had our last drink in the Robua pub before we go off to the airport. It's our favourite pub in Tromso. And we were looking at the pictures on the wall. They've got this picture that's been signed. They've had 50 Cent there, Katie Melua, Kim and Aggie. So we asked if we could buy a postcard and she gave us one. And apparently the Robua pub wasn't there. It was in the Radisson behind, and it was a famous Norwegian TV show. It was a comedy show that was on every Friday full of dirty jokes. She's given us a postcard and we're going to sign it, postcard and a pint, and put it on our stairs.
And now, just as we're about to leave soon, it's started to snow again.
But had it snowed the last few days, you'd never have seen the northern lights that you saw last night. We took a quick walk over to the Polaria Museum. Maybe we'll visit this one next time. But it's now gone very cold, so we'll warm up back at our hotel and then grab a taxi to the airport. This has been an incredible adventure in an Arctic wonderland. Hand us over back to home, kids.
We're now at the airport and this adventure is coming to an end, and wow, what an adventure it's been. I think it's been above everything I expected it could be. So we'll fly our way home now and we'll see you back home for a catch-up.
Well, wasn't that an adventure?
Wasn't it indeed?
That is something we've been wanting to do for years.
A
We've
long
saved
time.
up for a while to do.
Because it was an expensive one.
Everything we wanted to do. The weather while we were out there was not dissimilar to here, to be honest.
You know what? I was actually slightly disappointed that there was no snow, but I've seen news reports of how it is at the moment, and it's blizzards. And to be honest, we wouldn't have done half we did or saw half we saw
Had it been
all
yeah,
snowy.
it would have been magical. We might have got the reindeer sleighing.
I might have been Santa Claus.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have seen the northern lights and we wouldn't have walked as easily as we did.
I know.
Anyway, we want to give you a few costs.
1877,
Oh, yes.
by the way.
tea, by the way, just in case you want to go and do that trip.
And this isn't us bragging or anything, saying, "Oh, look how much we've spent." No, it's purely if you want to go, so you get an idea.
So you can make yourself a budget.
And it was expensive.
Right. First of all, the flights weren't expensive.
No, the flights. Sorry, we're looking down here because we've got a cheat sheet here. So the flights were £330 for the two of us, which is return, which is £165 each. Yeah. Now that sounds quite a lot, but when you think from where we are, an off-peak return on the train to London is 140 something. So 165 for return flights to Norway.
3-hour flight. That's great. Hotel, this was the cheapest one we could find.
At the time,
At the time, and for 4 nights it was £698.88.
£174 a night.
Yeah.
Which is, it's quite pricey. Again, you'd pay more than that in London.
You would, but for what we paid, I would have expected a better room.
Yeah, it
was
small.
And they didn't clean it.
One of my favourite comments, I can't remember who did it, one of my favourite comments was the most northern, smallest hotel room or something.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
I don't think it was worth it, but we did look at the prices at the Radisson. We didn't really look at Airbnb, to be honest, this time.
We should have.
Maybe we should have, but yeah.
We didn't like it because the bed was against the wall, and we hate a bed against the wall, but other rooms didn't have it. So would we stay there again? Possibly, but not in that room.
Not in that room.
It was good for a single traveller.
Yeah, if you were a single traveller, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Right, taxi from the airport to the hotel.
£18.60.
Yeah.
It was slightly more on the way back for some reason.
He couldn't go through the tunnel. The tunnel was shut.
That was it. Yeah.
Right, sorry, drinking. Beers. The first night at the Ruabo pub, we had
it's easy for you to say.
We had a big beer and a little beer. Here we go.
Pint and a half.
£17.95.
I know, that is how much.
That's where it starts to hit you.
And then we had another drink in the hotel afterwards. I think I had a beer, Rachel had a
small glass of wine.
£19.10.
Jesus, yeah.
I know.
Meals that we had, that nice meal with all the shrimp.
They varied, didn't they, in cost?
That one was, we had a beer, a hot chocolate, I had shrimp and you had the omelette, was £47.28 for the two of us.
Which is a bit pricey, but not too bad, we thought. That wasn't too bad.
The jacket spuds and the 2 Cokes.
£39.
Yeah.
Again, pricey. I mean, it's a lot more than you pay over here for that, isn't
The most expensive meal we had was Hard Rock. We did have a bottle of wine.
And we had the onion rings, and we had the nachos, and we had a bottle of wine. And to be honest, we had no idea how much it was when we ordered it, and it was only when we got the bill at the end. £89.
I'm just going to run through more of the food ones. That pizza with 2 beers was £62.92. No, I had water on that one, didn't I?
You had water, I had a couple of beers,
I think that's it on the food.
So it varies a lot. It varies from sort of the meal from sort of £30, £39, £89 in the Hard Rock Cafe. Won't be going there again.
No. The beer flight was £25.70.
Sorry about that section where you probably all fell asleep while we were just checking beer.
Kept us entertained for a while. Right, on to other things. The boat trip that was the result of a bottle of wine.
Yeah, we weren't going to go on it. We hadn't planned. We hadn't budgeted, hence the credit card line. It was worth it. It was worth it. Oh, I want to say something about the Northern Lights in a bit before we stop as well.
Yeah, it was £72 each. I'm glad we did it because had we not found the Northern Lights on the minivan, it was probably the best because we saw the curtain. So it was kind of the sort of fail-safe just in case.
It was
worth it. This was expensive, I thought. The cable car.
£40, just 4-minute cable.
Each return. We had budgeted for that one, but they say you can walk and it's not that high, but in the winter with all the ice they've got, it just becomes like a slope.
That's one of the problems. We didn't. If we went again, and if it was the same conditions, we'd definitely buy the spikes for the shoes. They're just a little rubber put-on thing with little spikes in them, and because it was so slippy.
Yeah. Troll Museum, £15.
That was okay.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite reasonable.
Kept us entertained.
A couple of museums we didn't go in. We might go in. Gutted we didn't get to do the sauna.
I know.
Loved to have done the sauna. Note to self, book in advance.
Well in advance.
Yeah.
The reindeer trip was £161 each.
And we did get a refund of £20 because of the sleigh ride. Obviously, there was no snow.
I think that's a bit steep, actually.
I think it is quite expensive. And I thought we'd have got more back from the not having the sleigh ride.
It wasn't that far from Tromso. It was nice.
The food was
all right, but yeah, that is a bit steep. Next, the minivan tour.
That was expensive.
It was 140 each. We'd budgeted for that one. But man, was that worth it.
That one was the one that was worth every penny. We'll never forget that.
No, ever.
One thing I would like to say about the Northern Lights, though, is it's not that it's a con, and I think we might even make a video about this, but it's about the expectation. Now, the first night, you might have seen the pictures where you could see it beautifully on the camera. You could hardly see that at all. It was like a grey
cloud with a tinge of green.
Yeah. On the boat, you could see it light green, but on the camera it was much, much darker. Yeah. Now, when we went on the minivan one on the final night, it was pretty intense.
You can see on our film how intense it was. It wasn't quite that intense.
No, but the video is slightly darker than it was to the naked eye, but the photos are much brighter.
Slightly brighter than it was to the naked eye.
But it was still incredible.
Oh, no, he was a nutter.
The French guy,
The French guy was an...
Francisco?
He was absolutely mental, but you could tell how excited he was. Like, he said it was in his top 3. He was running up and down that mountain, going, "Oh my God, can you see the tail? Can you see this? Blah, blah, blah." And he was genuinely excited. And he said what we saw the night before on the boat is kind of what they'd call a good night on the Northern Lights tour. So we were very, very lucky.
We were very lucky. We were indeed. We should probably round this up.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere in the too distant future because
we can't afford it.
We can't afford anything now. We're having to work hard now to save up. It's probably going to be UK for quite a while yet.
I think it is.
But don't you worry, we will dine out on these videos.
Yes,
and we've still got more on the cruise ship we could dine back to.
Indeed.
And you might think, you two are the most unhealthy two we've ever met in your life.
I'll tell you what, I've still got my COVID cough, and this weeks after I got it.
And it's because basically those 2 trips...
Rachel's got an eye infection.
The 2 trips we did were over we're all done within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So all these videos over 6, 7, 8 weeks, we look like we're ill for the whole time. We weren't ill for the whole time.
We still are.
We're not. We're fine. Right.
Fine.
Let's round this up now.
Okie dokie.
If you'd like this video, that would be great.
If you would hit that subscribe button and the bell and leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Have you been to Norway? Have you been to Tromso? Sorry,
Share this video with your friends.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, as we say,
in Postcard and the Pint, cheers to the good times. Do you like my new aftershave? It's called Fred Flintstone.
it's very strong.
Yeah, a little dab will do.
Oh.